The week begins with USS Bonefish attacking a Jap cruiser. This shows that Imperial Japanese Navy heavy units are now in theater. Patrol planes from both sides fan out finding opposing submarines or, in Japan's case, the combat air patrol over our carriers. It's an experience they won't soon forget. On their way to refuel and rearm at 1EyedJacks, our carriers sweep truck, downing dozens of Japanese fighters before following up with intense air raids targeting the port, airfields, and shipping nearby. Our brave flyers close the airbase, sink an ACM, and destroy over a dozen Japanese Bettys and fighters on the ground. It is a good day's work. They don't forget about the marshals either, and land-based level and dive bombers pace Japanese-held islands, inflicting casualties and preventing fortifications being improved. The 31st of May begins well with USS Bonefish torpedoing and sinking a Japanese cargo ship and a US destroyer escort, scoring 2 direct hits on a Jap submarine, leaving it flooding and on fire, and presumed sunk. Betting that the Japanese will be expecting them to make directly for 1EyedJacks, our carriers reverse course and make for Guam again. As expected, the Japanese have repaired the airfields and are ready to meet us in the air again. The day begins with several squadrons worth of sweeps from the carriers. we inflict disproportionate losses and clear the way for our strike package. When the strike comes in, it sinks 2 small cargo ships outright and leaves another and a patrol boat in sinking condition. Not satisfied with leaving half of the Jap convoy above the waves, our boys attack again that afternoon, putting enough bombs into the 2 remaining ships to ensure they sink. On the 1st of June, it's Saipan's turn to feel the wrath of our carriers as our boys sweep it again. And again. And again. And again. Cutting the defenders down to size before the main strike of the day arrives. Over 700 fighters and attack aircraft close on Saipan and deliver a devastating attack. They destroy fighters and patrol aircraft on the ground and hit the airfield over 100 times. Japanese air power in the Marshalls has suffered grievous losses over the last 48 hours. The Japanese fall back on barges to shuttle troops and supplies between islands in the Marianas, but the USS Paddle will have none of it and takes the surface to stop the flow. Our carriers remain close to the Marianas, both to strike them again and to bait a trap our commander has been setting over the past few days. We sweep the Marianas again and again throughout the day, weakening Japanese air defenses and making everything appear like business as normal. Overnight, we bombard Guam and Tinian, destroying many fighters and strike aircraft on the ground. Before following up with another day of sweeps and airstrikes. The sweeps meet very little resistance in the air as the Japanese finally run out of fighters and airfields in the Marianas. We again hit Saipan, but this time find cripples in the harbor and put 3 of them out of their misery. On the 3rd of June, our heavy bombers strike Truk again, fighting their way through Japanese cap to plaster the airfield and port, and most importantly, sinking the sole Japanese repair dock and theater. The Japanese will have more trouble putting their damaged ships back into action now. Yesterday's bombardments were a huge success with intercepts of Japanese communications, indicating that 120 planes had been destroyed on the ground. So successful were these bombardments that the Allied commander decides to repeat them. Tinian and Guam are bombarded again, while, as our carriers pull back, they launch parting full-deck strikes, destroying more planes on the ground and causing more damage to the airfields. As the pounding of Ponape continues, Japanese forces begin taking squads destroyed and not just disabled. This is a sign that they're running out of supplies and being attrited. USS Seahorse puts a torpedo into a Jap destroyer, putting her out of action. Unfortunately, Seahorse takes some heavy hits herself in return, but she will make it back to port, be repaired, and be back in action in no time. Remember, every job is crucial during wartime. Do your part. As our carriers return home for refueling and rearming, they take the opportunity to pound Truk again, destroying fighters in the air and on the ground and catching a damaged submarine in port, sinking her and partially blocking the harbor entrance. By the end of the second week of the campaign, our transport and amphibious convoys are nearing the Marshall Islands. As our surface combat and carrier task forces pull back from the Marianas for reprovisioning. We have destroyed 3 Japanese aircraft for every one we lost in exchange ratio, which augurs well for the future of the campaign. Please consider liking and subscribing to help the algorithm recommend this to others who might be interested. On screen now, you will see links to 2 other videos I think you might be interested in. Take care and see you next week.